I'm going to be going on a trip to Europe here soon to speak at the water conference, which is just going to be such an awesome experience. I'm so grateful and honored to be able to speak at such a cool conference hosted by Dr. Jerry Pollack. But I thought that some of you might be interested to know what I'm going to bring to Europe. And I'm bringing the whole family. So I've got my husband and my three kids coming as well. And so, what are things that I bring to Europe? And it might surprise you that I don't obsess. Let me just put it that way with air travel. So things that I want to be aware of when it comes to traveling, well, I want to be aware of having good quality water. I want to be aware of my light environment. I want to be aware of the potential need to support my mitochondria during times of excessive non-native EMFs. And so I have my little goodie bag of things that I bring, and that I typically bring, and I'm going to show you what I have. So first and foremost, I'll just unpack it. This feels like one of those YouTube unboxing videos. I have the torch from Solay Wells. And so this is a red light therapy torch that comes with an attachment. The attachment is where's the attachment? Nope, you know what? I have to make sure I grabbed, oh, here it is. It comes with an attachment that can go at the end of it, right? So you can screw the attachment on. And this torch has been a game changer and literally a lifesaver when it comes to supporting just random stuff when we're away. So I'll bring this with me, regardless of where we're traveling, whether I'm traveling 2 hours on a car trip or whether I'm traveling across the ocean. And so this is very convenient because you could put it directly to a source of injury, shine the light directly on a source of injury. And this is again by Solay Well. Phenomenal product. It really stops pain in its tracks. So if a child complains of a tummy ache, this goes directly on the tummy. Earache, you can put the attachment on and you can shine it directly in the ear. Sore throat. I just had a lovely anecdotal story in my community yesterday about a woman whose daughter used it and it literally cleared up her tonsillitis like that. So, this is a phenomenal thing to have if you're dealing with any type of potential injury, from just a little surface scratch to any pains like tummy pains to earaches to sore throats. Just a beautiful, beautiful device. So it's so convenient to travel with. And there's a beautiful battery or a rechargeable one that I now bring with me. It's just a great little product here. So I've got my Solay Well torch. And the next thing that I bring, that I typically bring, and I'm going to bring, are all sorts of blue blocking glasses. And I'm going to pull all of them out. So of course, I bring my ones that I'm wearing here. These are my Viva Rays. I will bring these because I'm going to be at times inside places where the light is garbage. No offense to Dr. Pollack and his conference, but typically when I go to these types of conferences, we're in a windowless room with fluorescent lights and a projector being displayed. So these will be worn at times like this. I'll wear these on the airplane when it's daytime hours, when it's nighttime and evening hours, and also when it's evening in my destinations, I will wear blue blockers, right? So I have the Viva Rays clip-ons that go on top of this right here. So I could very easily do these, and they come in either the red or the orange. And I find that I do like having the reds with me when I'm traveling different time zones, especially the different I'm at about a 5 to 6, I think about a 5 hour difference. Yeah, 5 hour difference currently from where I'm going to be heading. So the orange ones are great for evening, but if I want to make sure I can, adjust quickly to the time zone and start to go to sleep at sunset or get tired at sunset in the location I'm heading to, as soon as I get there, that evening, I'm going to put these on, right? And I'm going to really block all of the blue light, all of the green light. Both are the tons of those are all the wavelength ranges that can keep me alert, artificially alert. So this will allow my brain to make a lot of melatonin, and then allow me to adjust much more quickly to the time zone difference. Now, remember, it's also about making sure that I get plenty of natural light into my eyes as soon as I arrive at my destination, and finding places to earth and ground. And so I want to make sure I go to places where I can touch bare feet to the earth, which is probably typically just outside of the hotel. It was a lot easier to do that when my destination, my time shift was in Hawaii, because no one's going to look at you weird if you step outside of your your little lanai and are barefoot on the grass or on the sand. However, heading over to, I'm going to be in the UK and in Lisbon, there maybe people are going to judge that, but that's okay. I typically still try to find a place to connect to the surface of the earth. And worst case scenario, I put my hand next to a tree. Remember, the tree is pulling Earth's energies up, and I will then be touching the tree and pulling Earth's energies into me. That is sensing Earth's magnetism more deeply and really does help to geolocate my body in space, right? It really helps to my body's magnetic field connect to my position on the planet. And so it goes hand in hand with helping me to reset my circadian rhythm or to the current time zone, because I'm not only getting the signals of light entering my eyes to tell me the time of day, but I'm also going to be geolocating myself through magnetism as well. So these are great, right? Now, listen, my kids don't have Viva Rays. My husband doesn't have Viva Rays. My husband does wear and likes this pair of raw optics, and I will wear these as well. I like these raw optics because they're a dark tone of orange, so they can work very well if you only want one pair of glasses that kind of bridges the gap between orange and red. I find it to be a very, very satisfactory pair of glasses. So this is their orange lens, but again, it does have a deeper tone than the Viva Rays. And I'm not sure if it's going to show up on camera too well, but maybe if I hold it up next to me, but it is a deeper orange tone. So they're a phenomenal pair to have if you only want to have one pair to bring. Now, this is a high price point, right? And so some new pair of glasses a company that I absolutely love and will also bring are a company from the glasses from Solay. This is the red pair from Solay. Phenomenal. I love these. Again, once I put these on, I will really start to maximize my melatonin production. So these could also serve in place of the red tone Viva Rays as well. So, and again, the price point on these is much less expensive, but they do the job beautifully. The next pair of blue blockers I will bring are the ones for my children. Now, my kids like to wear, and I've got a couple pairs of these. These are the Spectra 479s. So, kind of looking like welder's goggles, right? But they absolutely do the trick. They're very, very durable. They're plastic. It's very difficult to destroy these. So these are great for kids. And again, they do the trick beautifully. And then the one for my youngest, because those are too big, I got the Midwest Red Light Therapy pair for kids, the orange tone lens for kids, again from Midwest Red Light Therapy. Perfect size. They fit him beautifully. He doesn't complain. They block the light. So whereas these other ones were too big, they were uncomfortable, they were bulky for him. He's 5 years old. These are perfect. These also work very well for my 8-year-old. So I have a pair of these for her. She kind of gets to pick and choose since they all really do fit her. So those are blue blockers, right? And remember, all of my product recommendations, the discount codes can be found at carriebwellness.com/products. So there are discount codes associated with the vast majority of the things I'm showing today. So let's move on to water and hydration. I'm going to bring two things with me that will help. And the first one is the Anna Lemma wand. The second one is the MEA water Vortexer. Very convenient to bring. So I do the very best I can once I get through security at the airport, and then also when I'm at my destination, of sourcing the best quality water possible. It might be Evian, it might be Icelandic, right? I try to get a true spring water, and I'll try to find it in glass if at all possible. If I can't, I bless the water, and I know that I'm doing the best I can with the resources that I'm given. But what I will still do with that water is I will structure it, because that natural spring water is very great at having a good quality mineral blend typically, but I will structure it using something like the Anna Lemma wand, which is easy to bring to a restaurant, for example, and stir the water at a restaurant. Or I will bring, then I'll also use this MEA Vortexer. What this does is this attaches to the two bottles together. So you can get two standard bottles. Some of them are, they work best with glass, but I've also done this with plastic. Again, do the best you can given the situation. I would have this water full at the bottom, almost all the way full. And then I'd connect this, a duplicate of this bottle at the top. And then all you do is flip it over and rotate it, and a vortex forms. And what the beauty of this MEA water device is that it imparts a permanent negative charge into the water. So you create a highly energetic and vitalized water, regardless of your starting source. Technically, the researchers over at MEA have shown this to even revitalize standard tap water. So if you're starting with an even better water source, it's phenomenal. I find this water to be extremely hydrating, meaning I believe it's very, very well absorbed, because let's say I consume just a traditional amount of spring water in its natural form like this over the course of a couple hours, versus if I consume the MEA water over a couple of hours. Typically, the natural spring water will make me urinate more frequently, whereas my body hoards and loves the MEA water. So I do believe that that charge and the structure that this vortexing imparts in the water really makes it supremely hydrating, which is essential for travel, especially long air travel. Remember, we're in these planes that are just full of non-native EMFs. And one of those things that those non-native EMFs are doing is they're shrinking my exclusion zone water, and they're also potentially causing some harm to my mitochondria and my mitochondria's ability to also make water for me. Remember that water is everything. It's my body's charge. It's a battery. It's a conduit. It's an antenna. So I want to do everything I can to maintain its integrity. So speaking of which, I also then bring some things that support my mitochondria's ability to do just that, which would be molecular hydrogen tablets. These are the Mercola brand because that's what's in my cabinet right now, but I've used plenty of other ones as well. And they all, when I test with my little molecular hydrogen meter, which you can stick into a glass while after this is bubbled, you can see that it does make therapeutic amounts of molecular hydrogen. So again, I will put water and I'll ask for a glass on the airplane. I'll have an empty water bottle and make sure it's full about, let's say, 12 to 16 ounces. And then I will put one of these in and let it bubble up and just drink it as soon as it's bubbled. This molecular hydrogen is a selective antioxidant. So I call it a redox adaptogen. And what that means is in my cells that are experiencing excessive inflammation, whether it's from the non-native EMFs, whether it's from the time shift change, my mitochondria or my body will start to balance those out. So it'll lower inflammation where it needs to lower it, but it'll actually increase important reactive oxygen signaling molecules if they're too low. So it really brings everything back into a beautiful balance. So I do find this to be absolutely essential, especially when traveling and in high non-native EMF environments. I also use methylene blue. Again, my recommendations are found in my product guide. This one in particular is from Compass Laboratory, and it's a pharmaceutical grade, methylene blue. And what I find with this one is that methylene blue really works to, it actually can donate electrons to my body. So remember, negative charge is the currency of my body. My body wants adequate negative charge. And so if it's lacking, because let's say I'm flying for 8 hours on an airplane and I'm completely disconnected from the earth and Earth's charge, I need some other things that will donate charge. And methylene blue can be one of those things. So I do find it very good at not only giving charge to my body and to my mitochondria to convert that charge into water, but it also helps to stabilize my mitochondrial electron transport chain, which is a fancy way of saying it allows mitochondria to do their job better in an environment where the mitochondria may be struggling to be as efficient as they can be. And so methylene blue again, and I'll typically take the molecular hydrogen at least 3 times when I'm traveling in an airplane. So before I travel, on the airplane, after I arrive. Other than that, it's usually once a day, maybe twice a day. And then the methylene blue, I will typically take every morning, sometimes twice on the days that I'm doing air travel. And it's different. I always suggest people start small with methylene blue if you never have. So literally 1 drop and work from there. But at this point in time, I worked with methylene blue for myself enough to know that about 10 milligrams of methylene blue really resonates with my body and is protective. I also bring Keon Minerals, and these are Keon isotonic, and in their little travel packets, they're travel sachets. And the reason I like these is because, remember, these mimic the same hydration as my blood. And one of the very first places where dehydration starts to appear in the body when we're in these high non-native EMF environments is in the blood. And so I want to make sure I will take these when I'm traveling. And I typically take, again, 3 of these, if not more, on days that I'm traveling. And as soon as I arrive to a destination in order to kind of recover my hydration, then I'll typically just drink water, maybe take 1 of these every morning that I'm in my destination. And again, these would be taken best on an empty stomach, hold in the mouth for about, 30 seconds to 60 seconds. And because it mimics the blood so much, it gets very easily and quickly absorbed into the bloodstream. So within about 5 minutes. And remember, as long as the blood is hydrated with enough water and minerals, then that hydration can reach the spaces between the cells, the interstitial fluid, so we can have appropriate nutrient exchange and waste removal. If the blood volume starts to become dehydrated, that nutrient delivery and waste removal area starts to become more stagnant, which then can lead to a host of things that I'm not going to go into with this video. But we want to be able to deliver nutrients to the cells and remove the waste products accordingly. So this is really full of a lot of these. So, and then the other thing with minerals that I really love would be, I like cell mineral salts, cell tissue salts. And the one that we're currently using as a family that we love is by Miranda Castro. Miranda Castro, I don't know if you can see this Miranda Castro, but it's, no, you probably can't see, it's too bright. But it's called Healing Cell Salts. This is for bones, hair, nails, and teeth. So it's really good for, my kids are active, they're growing, right? So it's very good. It's got 3 cell salts, number 1, 2, and 12, which I find to be very beneficial for the supporting connective tissue, which tends to dehydrate when we're traveling, for supporting our bones, our hair, our teeth, all the things that she lists on here. So it's a very easy mineral supplement for kids to take. So I encourage you to look into cell mineral or cell tissue salts if you have not yet. And then let's see, one of the last things that a couple more things. I also bring homeopathics. Oh, here's some of my homeopathics. And those are going to be different regardless of, depending on the person, right? Your homeopathics might not be mine, but I know the ones that my kids really resonate with. And so I do make sure I bring homeopathic, their homeopathic, basically their constitutional remedies. I also bring my neutral pendulum, and my community knows about my neutral pendulum because I've talked with them about it a lot, as have private clients. What this does, and if you're interested in learning more, you have to go to the Vesica Institute and take their personal wavelength course by Dr. Robert Gilbert. But what this will do is act very similar to muscle testing, but you find someone's wavelength. So once you find their wavelength, I could then hold something and see if it's in resonance with me. Meaning, I don't test everything when I'm away by any means. But I just found my personal wavelength, and let's say I'm in some country and I'm not sure if this particular thing is going to be in resonance with me. So it'll either slow my energy field down, which it has significantly, or it could even speed it up. And what I just grabbed was a Splenda pack, right? I mean, I technically know that my body doesn't resonate well with Splenda, but it's very helpful. Also, let's say your kid gets sick and needs a different homeopathic remedy, so that I can go to the store, get their wavelength, and then just have them hold, or I can hold in proxy these different homeopathic remedies. So it really takes the guesswork out of things. I really appreciate having this and knowing how to utilize it. Again, it's very much like muscle testing. Let me see, anything else in here? Yes, my very last one that I have in here is my Indigo Gabro. This is a stone that has a very good ability to pull in what we would call negative energy. We could call it technically more things, but it's a very protective stone, if you will. It not only can, all dark toned stones, so melanin rich stones, have a good absorptive quality for absorbing toxic energies in an environment. And again, this could be because we're in an environment where the Wi-Fi router just so happens to be next to our hotel bedroom. We're talking energies like that. We're talking energies of people. But this stone has been used for a very, very long time for its ability to absorb toxic energies. Could be toxic earth energy lines or geopathic stress lines, and then it transmutes them. So I have literally had people who have been next to Wi-Fi routers, and it was just literally sucking the life force out of them, and then put one of these on the Wi-Fi routers, and it completely transforms how their body is interacting with that wireless radiation. So again, I would highly encourage that we don't sit directly next to a wireless router our whole lives or all of our workday. But in situations where we don't have control over it, I do find this Indigo Gabro to be a phenomenal thing to have on hand. And this also is from the Vesica Institute. And I really appreciate the quality of the stones that they sell there, simply because they've tested them to make sure they have the energetic properties that they're supposed to. They've not been heated or processed or treated in an inappropriate way to destroy their quality. So again, this is Indigo Gabro. So yeah, that is what I typically bring places with me. I hope that was helpful and gave you a little bit of an indication about maybe some inspiration about things that you might bring, or maybe things that you thought you absolutely needed, but maybe you'll rethink it because maybe sometimes it's overdoing it. And I know when I first started off, I was bringing a ton more than this. So this is over the course of 10 years, kind of sorting out exactly what I need and what my family need when we're traveling, especially doing air travel over time zones. So See you next time.